Hello everyone, welcome to CentreStack. In today's session, I'm going to give you an overview of the cluster manager within CentreStack. We're going to sign in using our cluster admin's credentials. Let's go ahead and sign in. Once we're logged in, by default, we're in the dashboard, and on the left pane, you will see the cluster manager. If you select the dashboard, you see the same window and you see the number of tenants, licenses, worker nodes, active users, total number of files, and total file size. We're going to select Tenants Manager. And here you see the tenants list. Here you see the tenants that have been created already. And if you select a tenant, you see the same options such as the default tenant. We're going to select the default tenant. And here we have the tenant dashboard. And from the drop-down menu, we have some choices such as change tenant admin's password and change the default storage. We have the tenant plan option. You could make changes here. We have the tenant AD settings option here. You could configure the Active Directory. We have the tenant branding, and we have the genre branding, web portal branding, Windows client branding, Mac client branding, and email branding. We have the upload report for the files. We'll show you the files uploaded within 30 days, files uploaded within last week, file uploaded within last 24 hours, and file uploaded in last 60 minutes. We also have create a new tenant icon here. You could click on this to create a new tenant. I'm not going to create one right now. And you could also search for tenants here. We're going to select the cluster admin. And here you could make changes to the default admin. You could edit the email or change the email address or reset the password. We're going to select the cluster branding. This is for the whole cluster. We have the genre branding, which is with the product name, the URL. You could change the color of the for the branding. We have branding for the web portal, branding for Windows client, branding for Mac client, branding for Android client, branding for the iOS client, branding for the emails, and we have the export import option as well. If you have existing branding settings and you would like to use them, you could export them and import them from here. You could also configure your own SMTP email services, or you could check this here and select use my own SMTP server to send emails, and you could gonna select apply, and that would be done. Here we have the cluster server farm. If you have more worker nodes you would like to add to the cluster, you could add them by selecting add new worker nodes. And here you could edit the current worker node and make changes to the worker node. We also have edit cloud monitor system here. You could enable storage scan and set scan start hour and an end hour. We have the cluster web node option. This is not really required unless you're a very large organization, but if you do need to add a new web node, you would add it from here. We have the zones option. If you have multiple data centers where you have CentreStack servers deployed, you can configure zones and each users will have Infinity to secure the respective zone, and you would add them here. And we have the cluster info. Here you'll see the list of active users. We have the node performance here. Here you could see some of the counters that show the last reported uh, login, total request process, pending, notifications. You have the guest users. We have one guest user. You could search for guest users. You could delete a guest user from here. You could edit and you could reset the password for the guest user. When we select server agents, you'll see the server agent that's connected under the devices. Here we have the reports. We have the upload report. It will show you the file upload report within the last 30 days, within the week, within the last 24 hours, and the last 30 minutes, 60 minutes. We have the storage statistics. We have the cluster setting. We'll give you the client version manager, and for Windows client, you'll see the version here. And for the server agent, and you could publish it to get an upgraded for the Windows package, and you could also unpublish it. And we have the application manager. We have these three applications to support right now: Microsoft Office web app, Zuhu web app, and Plixer web app. In the settings, we have quite a few settings here, and you could enable and disable for the cluster settings, such as hide login failure message details, enable content management policies, enable tenant branding, hide forgot your password link on login page, don't retry when login failed, show purge storage options when delete users, enable multiple AD domain support, turn on two-step verification, don't send email notification when purge deleted content, use icon view as default web browser, and we also have the language tab here. And here you could select a language you want to set your language to. I'm going to select French, and I'm going to select French, and I'm going to select set language. And I'm going to, here you have the resource files. I'm going to select one resource file to show you. And as you could see, we have them translated in English, and you could translate them yourself in French. And once you do, you will select Save and Publish the language. I'm going to go back into the dashboard, and I'm going to select My Files. And from My Files, we'll access the web portal. And here I want to show you, you have the option of management console, and we have an icon for cluster manager. When you select the cluster manager, you could access the cluster manager from the web portal. And here you see the cluster manager again. And this is how you will manage the cluster manager within the CentreStack. Thank you.